All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So this is something that I was pretty excited to get my hands on when I first heard about it. This is the LG Q6. Now the Q6 is a device that is considered a pocket-friendly version of a lot of the phones that LG brings out, and it's no surprise that this phone right here is going to be good. This takes on the new 18:9 ratio. So it's heading in the right direction when it comes to what the direction that the industry is going in, and then also it's checking off several boxes for the average consumer to keep them happy, I guess, instead of wanting to buy a phone or needing to buy a phone quickly. So you've got a ton of different phones back here: 18:9 ratio, 18:9 ratio, 18:9 ratio, 18:9. Basically, you know, this is the Exxon 7, and this one doesn't employ the 18:9 ratio, but it's still a hot device even in 2017 November. So this phone right here costing only no more than $250, I'll say. I think it goes up to about $399 tops, and that's for the 64 gig, 4 gig variant, which is the LG Q6 Plus. It's just a memory upgrade, and and things like that. So, but this phone has a 5.5 inch 1080p display. So 5.5 inches at 1080p. The resolution is 442 pixels per inch. It does employ the 18:9 ratio, and that tech specs show it to have a 78% screen to body ratio, which is just fantastic. If you look here, it's pretty much just all screen. Really, it's just all screen. So that's a good thing, because what I want in a phone at this point in the game is all screen and no body if possible. But I know I gotta have some bezels, and that's just what it is. Now this is one of LG's latest offerings, which was released in August of 2017. It is now November of 2017, and I recently got my hands on this. Now this does have a kind of a drop standard here. It's military standard 810G compliant, which means you can drop this thing and it should be okay. Now, the funny part about this phone is it doesn't have a fingerprint reader. It has facial recognition. And the facial recognition, I don't know if I can show it to you shooting a video, because the way I set my face up, it seems like I have to have my face not close, but far closer than I would do on this phone or this phone. And it works. I'll try to demo it right now on video. So I light the screen up, and you have to focus along the bottom here. So let's see how long it would take to do this here. Yeah, see, it doesn't do it too well at a far distance. So I end up putting in my code. So while the face recognition works, you have to have it kind of close. At least that's been my experience. So if you have this phone and you've been using the facial recognition, how is it working for you? Now, with that being said, the fact that it has it is cool. I don't see any problems with this device. I'm not having any problems with the facial recognition. It's just not as fast, and it's just not as accurate as some other phones that use that as a primary source to unlock the phone. But other than that, you're looking at a very compact size. You're looking at the metal chassis and body around the sides, and you've got like this metal frame, or it's like a glass back, I think. I'm not really sure, to be honest, but I know that it feels like metal and glass all over, and that's about how I can describe it to you. It feels like a small G6. How about that? It feels like a small G6, and that's pretty much what it is. Because this is the Q6, and so this is the G6's little baby cousin. So this has a Snapdragon 435 inside, and it has 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs onboard storage. This model I have, but again, it does come in a 4 gig and a 64 gig model as well. Now this does have an SD card slot. This has a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. But aside from all that tech stuff, it does run Android 7.1.1. But forget about that. How has the phone been performing? Well, that's what this video is about. So the first thing I want to start with is battery life. Now, I haven't charged this phone in 3 days. Since I've been using it, I haven't charged. So I'm at just over 40 hours, or let me see here, 47 hours and 16 minutes, with approximately 4 hours and 7 minutes remaining. That's real world. I haven't charged the phone. And as you see, 99% of that was over LTE for Cricket. I'm using this on Cricket, on my Cricket Sim. And then if I go down to screen on time, I've got 5 hours and 14 minutes. Folks, that's fantastic battery. 2 days and 5 hours of about 5.5 hours was what I'll close out with, maybe close to 6 hours, 5 hours and 45 minutes maybe. I might be able to get another 30 minutes of screen on time out of this. If you know, because even though it says it's 4 hours remaining, I'm at 8% on battery. So it's definitely not going to last for another 4 hours if I'm banging it out with internet and streaming and all this other stuff and keeping the screen on. But with that being said, battery life has been great. I haven't charged the phone. So that should give you some idea of how good this phone is. Now, another surprise that I got were the cameras. The front camera on here is much better than the V30 and the G6. Those are some of their latest offerings from LG. This is a 5 megapixel, 2.2 in aperture sensor on the front, and it shoots in 1080p on the front. And the rear, I think the front shoots it. Yeah, no, let me just go in and check real quick. I know the rear shoots in, let me switch it around. I was doing something for them. I know the rear shoots in 1080p. Let me swap here and see. Let's just see here. Yeah, so full HD at 16 by 9. Yeah. So the good part about this phone is that it has the front camera has a wide angle shot, and I absolutely love it. This camera is good, folks. The front camera on here and the rear camera are absolutely great for the money. Now, this is the Amazon ad version, and what I did was I went in and disabled all of the Amazon stuff that I wasn't going to use. The only thing I kept was my Prime Now, Amazon, and Prime Video. Other than that, I disabled all of that other Amazon bloatware that's here. And then every now and then, I'll get an ad on the lock screen. And it doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't. See if I can unlock it with the face. Let's just see here. It says, look at it. And sometimes what I recognize, I have to take off my glasses for it to actually work sometimes. So let's see here. Nope. Didn't work again. I think it's just because I'm behind this camera. I don't know what it is, but again, like I said earlier, the facial recognition is sometimes, it's about 70% it works. But on from that, the experience with the battery is fantastic. The screen is gorgeous. I mean, you can see the screen for yourself. This is a beautiful display. The cameras on here, absolutely stunning for this price range. You got to remember the price range for these things, folks. And this thing has an SD card slot. It has a 13 megapixel and a 5, which I believe the 5 is much better than the front camera is much better than some of the latest offerings from LG. It has a headphone jack. But it does have USB 2.0, so it's kind of a downer, but you've got a couple of microphones there for noise cancellation. This is a good purchase, and it's less than $200 right now if you get the Amazon version. It's only $180 for this model, or you can get the 64, I believe it is, for $239 or something like that. I can't stress, some phones are just so good, you can't put into words and try to convince a person to get it, so you just have to show them footage on it. I've already got a camera review up and an unboxing and first impressions. How about software? I don't have any problems with it. And you can see I'm running the stock launcher on here. I didn't switch to Nova. I didn't switch to anything else. And I run it without an app tray. I'm perfectly fine with this, man. I'm perfectly fine with this. Just no problems with it. Coverage over Cricket and T-Mobile has actually been really good. Cricket is really stable with this phone. No problems with it. It's just a good experience. Text messaging, SMS, phone calls, no drop calls or anything over Cricket. It's just been a fantastic experience. These Amazon version phones, they're unlocked phones. They just put a bunch of Amazon stuff on it on the lock screen, and that's it. But if you're going to sit outside, you're going to sit up and look at your lock screen all day and get upset about it, something's wrong. You go past your lock screen, you get into the phone, and it's gone. I don't get any kind of pop-ups on the phone or anything like that while I'm using it. Nothing. It's just an ad appears on the lock screen every now and then, and that's it. So overall, the experience on this thing has actually been really, really nice. I just don't have any complaints about it at this point, and I'm super happy that I picked it up. So at this point, just first impressions of it after 3 days of use. going on 3 days of use. It's actually great, and I just don't have a complaint at this point. So it's your man Jay Will. I will see you guys in the next video. LG Q6. This is a win-win. 1080p by 2160. 18:9 on this low cost 5.5-inch display. There's so much to love about this phone. I'll see you guys in the next one.